This was my first attempt at a pie eating contest. And when it was first announced at the party, I just ignored it. I had never been in one before, and I really didn't have any desire to see how much food I could stuff in my face, at least not in front of other people. But there was something about just dismissing it, like I always do for things like that, that raised a little bit of a red flag inside of me. Mentoring will do this to you. Okay, just fair warning. And I thought, why not? I should give this a try. And so I agreed. But as soon as I had opted in, I started to get really, really nervous, and that surprised me. Because I had decided that I was going to be totally committed. Win or not, I was going to finish that pie before the party was over, no matter what. And I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't even know if I could do it, honestly. But Wileen Benson said something at the last convention. She said, you're never going to feel ready to do something you've never done before. At some point, you've just got to give it a try and believe that you can. Well, my efforts paid off. I not only finished the pie, but I also won the contest. Hey! And since then, where's Marcy? Sorry, Marcy. I won't do it again. Since then, I have come to really find some good parallels between a pie eating contest, and we'll take that off, and a business compress and explode. Now, can the average person eat an entire pie all by himself over time? Yeah. Absolutely. Have a small slice every so often, and eventually, you're gonna finish the pie. That is not an accomplishment that's gonna make anyone a hero. So what is it that the contest does? The contest creates urgency. I was going to eat what I could easily eat in over a matter of days in a very short amount of time. I had to stay very focused. I couldn't get sidetracked by those J-dogs that were a few tables down. It helped to be surrounded by others who were doing the same thing and to have people cheering me on. It was also a lot of fun, actually, and that helped as well. And if I was going to do this, I wanted to know what I was really capable of. So I wanted to give it my everything so that I could find out. A business compress and explode is taking what can be done over time, adding some urgency, and compressing it into a very short amount of time in order to achieve extraordinary results. And today I'd like to show you exactly how. I'm sure we've all heard the moral, slow and steady wins the race. Really? Why does slow have to accompany steady? Do we have to be slow to be steady? In my experience, compressed and steady, focused and consistent, is what helps produce those results that we are hoping to achieve. Having fun and good team support also go a long way as well. Another way to look at this is that if I were to lay out a 2-foot line of black gunpowder and light it, what's going to happen? Not much. It's going to just kind of burn through, right? But if I were to take that same amount of gunpowder, the same amount, exact same of presentations, events, trainings, people that I'm going to talk to about Strong Brook, and compress it super, super tight and add a wick, now what's going to happen? Boom, right? This is the power of having a compressed 90-day game plan as illustrated on strongbrooktrainer.com. However, running a 90-day compress and explode is not a one-time event. You build your business in 90-day increments to compound growth and to build true momentum. At the beginning of each new 90 days, it's like New Year's. I get to start with that same excitement and intensity that I feel on January 1st, and it's awesome. Not sure where that screen went. But basically, for a 90-day compress and explode is where you're going to plan out everything you and your team are going to do. You're going to, there we go. You're going to break down your goals and your team's goals. You're going to track your business and your team's business, because that which is measured is going to grow. And you're going to create incentives and have Fast Track Academy trainings. And if that feels like a lot and a little overwhelming, remember that you are not in business by yourself. You have a team. And if you haven't created a team yet, you belong to a team. It's the team that you joined when you first enrolled with Strong Brook. The 90-day plan needs to have a start and an end date. That end date is going to be building towards a great big event. I can slip through too fast here. Okay, this is because we run our businesses professionally. Professionals are going to create campaigns. They're going to have a focus and a specific purpose for all of their activity and efforts. Amateurs are going to prospect kind of willy-nilly. They're going to follow up haphazardly, and their results are going to be mixed. But we have events, and we put on our consistent weekly home meetings so that we have purpose as we are talking with people. We also set specific goals. One goal is for every IBD to enroll 3 people, either on the MAP or in the Conscious Creator Mentoring Network within the first 30 days, 3 more in their next 30 days, and another 4 in the final 30 days leading up to that big event. Now these numbers are probably going to look a little small after this weekend and all the things that are going to be revealed and announced, so these numbers might change. First thing that we need to do is get a blank calendar and take out 3 months worth and plan first for that big event. This might be a community grand opening, a wealth summit, maybe a real estate a la mode, perhaps even a local mentoring symposium. And then we're going to plan our monthly trainings and then commit to our weekly home presentations. And these are going to be at the same time, at the same place, same day of the week. Every single week you're committing to those. And those are for you to bring your guests to. This way you know what you can count on, your team knows what they can count on. But it gets a little tempting to expect our team to provide those guests to us, okay? Those need to be for our guests, and of course, the team will bring the guests as well, but if you have your guests, your team will follow suit. Okay, now we're going to take this calendar and post it up on our wall almost like a vision board. And this is going to be our map to creating a very successful compress and explode. Now, why will some have success and others won't? It's really going to come down to mindset. Okay? Success is a product of not only dedicated effort, but also having the right mindset. I've seen some people work really hard and maybe not achieve the results that they were looking for because the mindset wasn't there. In fact, having the proper mindset is one of the most critical factors in whether or not you will succeed. Research shows that the top 2% in any field, whether that's business, arts, entertainment, sports, the one common thread that they all had was the absolute conviction that they were going to succeed. So we may need a little bit of a mindset shift. Now, Craig and I do believe that we had a little bit of an unfair advantage when we first joined Strong Brook about 1.5 years ago. This is because we got right into the mentoring program. It was fantastic. While we were simultaneously building a Strong Brook business while getting this fantastic mentorship right along with it. Well, it is now available, right, to everybody. So we hope that you will all take advantage of this unfair advantage. This is because often people you know, and it may even be yourself, will unintentionally fight you on your way to success. It's like in Leslie Householder's book, The Jackrabbit Factor. It makes perfect sense to the dog who's chasing around that jackrabbit, what he's doing, right? But to the person that's watching the dog and sees no jackrabbit, the dog just looks crazy. Think about that. We might make others a little uncomfortable. Okay? Remember that there are basically 3 types of people in this world. A pessimist just knows everything's going to fall apart. Everything always goes wrong, always will. And they're actually proud when it happens. This is because they would rather be right than be successful. And this group makes up about 14% of the people in the world. Okay, a realist is someone who's just going to keep it real. They are not going to set a goal that they know for sure they can't achieve. But is a goal that you know for certain you're going to hit really a goal? No, we call that a to-do. That's a to-do list, okay? They set low goals for themselves and expectations because they would rather keep their reputation than experience success. Reputation is more important to them than experiencing success. They care more about what others think of them or what they think others think of them, and they let this guide their decision making. A big group of 84% of the people are this in the world. Now there's the top 2% visionaries. And these are the people that understand that their dreams are like the stars in the sky. They may never touch them, but they know that if they follow them, it will lead them to their destiny. They are very realistic about where they are today, but they have a vision of where they are going. And they do so not always knowing how. When Chris approached our team at the end of convention last year and challenged us to grow our team to 100 IBDs, we didn't know how we were going to do that, but we caught the vision. And we had just come off of a pretty successful Compress and Explode for our first one, and we were feeling that momentum. And we thought, okay, we don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to say yes and figure it out along the way. Well, we don't always reach our goals. While our team was able to grow our team to 107 members, Craig and I had personally set the goal to enroll 9 IBDs ourselves. I'm sorry, 10. we actually set the goal for the 10. What we achieved was 9. Now, if we had set the goal lower or not set a goal at all, we wouldn't have found those 9. And so the great thing is that visionaries know that they never fail. They just haven't succeeded yet. This very last 90 days that we've just finished at the end of March, Craig and I personally sponsored 17 people. Now, mindset is everything. How do I know when I'm working with someone who's in a failing mindset or a successful mindset? Something happens to the person in the failing mindset and they tell a story. They're beating themselves up, they're blaming. But someone with a successful mindset, the same thing can happen to them, and they're able to take a step back and just see it as feedback. And they say, okay, there's something here that I didn't quite understand, I don't know yet, I need to practice, and they go to work. Now, once we have created our calendar and we're starting to really get our mindset shift, the next thing, of course, we're going to do is to create some specific goals. In order to do this, we may need to make some sacrifices. Now, sacrifice is often equated with words such as suffering, pain, sorrow. But sacrifice is really taking something of a lower value and trading it up for something of a higher value. And this might come in the form of time, in our perception of the family and friends, acceptance and support. And I say perception because it's really a choice. If we're looking for support, we'll find it all around us. If we're looking for criticism and judgment, we're going to find evidences of that too. It really comes down to which one is going to serve us better. And I choose to believe that everything supports me, even if something seems that it's not. It's motivating me to try harder. And so indirectly, it is supporting my success. Okay, we also might need to trade up in the form of our leisure. I have found it very fun to take guests to events and to presentations and to mentoring symposiums. That's what I would consider a great use of my spare time, and it feels leisurely. Coming off of a blitz, and let's talk about that just for a minute. Blitzes are so cool, all right? This is concentrating a 2-hour block of time, contacting everybody that you can think of in those 2 hours just as fast and as quick as you can through either texting, phone call, Facebook messaging, maybe handing out magazines. You pick one method and you just contact people as fast as you can in those 2 hours. And it's fantastic because it's like having this mini compress and explode in like 2 hours, and it's awesome, very powerful. But after doing that for about 2 hours, I'll tell you, getting to go wash the sink full of dishes, oh, so relaxing, right? It's all a matter of perception. Or getting to listen to one of the audios from the mentoring vault while I'm folding laundry. I just couldn't think of anything better to do. It feels so good. All right, it's all perception. Now you may need to sit down with your team and decide what exactly things you're going to need to maybe give up during those 90 days. Like we heard earlier, something's got to give. What is it that you're going to be willing to do? Maybe going to the movies or surfing the web. I would, however, recommend that you make sure to carve out some specific quality time with your family and schedule that, because it might get pushed to the back burner. And I'm guessing that, like me, your family is probably not only a large part of your why, it's probably a huge part of your how. And so if we can acknowledge them, and maybe even sit down and figure out a reward that we're going to enjoy together after those 90 days are over, I would definitely suggest that we make that based on not things that we have no control over, things that we can. So for example, I may not be able to control how many people show up at that big event, but I can control how many people I invite and how I invite them, how many people I follow up with. These are the kinds of things to base your reward upon. All right, to make these types of sacrifices, we're going to really need to know why we are doing it. And you know, that might be a particular rank, incentive, or income goal on the surface. But man, we need to get deeper than that, right? We find that out, your why, the core central why, by peeling back the layers. And I like to do this by asking, and that means what? And that means what? So for example, if you decided that you wanted to become a sales supervisor in the next 90 days, I would ask myself, and that means what? Well, I'm going to make this particular amount of money. Well, that means what? What is it that that money represents to you? Or, wow, I would get to walk across stage. And that means what? Well, my team would see me and they would know that if I could do it, they could do it. And that means what? What is it that motivates you to want to inspire others? Now we're getting at the heart of your true purpose. And you'll know you're getting close because it will feel very personal and it will become an emotional experience. I would recommend that find a quiet hour to meditate, either here while you're at convention or shortly after you get home, and ask yourself, where do you see yourself in the next 90 days? What would it mean if you accomplished that goal? How do you feel? How is life different for you? What can you afford? Where can you go? Who can you help? What can you now experience? And if you can become very clear on how that will feel then, and you can choose to feel that now, you will manifest it so much more quickly into your life. If you do not have a clearly defined 90-day plan, I can almost guarantee you're going to get sidetracked. We want to think in terms of quarterly, monthly, weekly, and then daily. Not breaking down your goals when you create a 90-day game plan is going to create burnout. This is because as you plan that big 90-day picture and you see all those events and presentations and trainings, all the people you're going to need to talk to in order to reach your goals, you're going to be experiencing in a single moment something that was meant to be experienced over 90 days, and it is really too overwhelming to see that all at one time. So just remember that once those goals are set, be in the now. You do not need to look out any further than the very next day. Look out to the next day so that you can plan. But all you have to do is the next step. Now, a lot of people will ask, you know, how much time am I looking at with doing a compress and explode? And it's really not about the hours. It's about being 100% committed to focus on income-producing activities during the hours that you have set aside, whatever those are, as long as they're daily and consistent. The time doesn't matter. In other words, the difference between part-time and full-time is time, not effort. You are still 100% committed when you remain completely present during those times that you've set aside. You could be extremely more effective during a focused 2 hours than you might in an unfocused 8. All right, so next from those goals, you're going to create a list that really describes what your team is committed to doing. And we're not going to have time to go over all this. If you message me on Facebook, I can send you a copy of these slides. But the point is that we're taking them down into a daily method of operation. And this is what you're going to be committed to doing every single day, like brushing your teeth. And we follow this at least 6 days a week. Here is the daily tracker that our team used for the last Compress and Explode. It was originally created by Mike Driggers. Thank you. And it was tweaked by Wileen for the Strong Heart Power team. And it is a daily tracker, so there's one sheet for every single day. And I would put the new sheet on the previous day's work. So I have this fantastic record of the last 90 days of work that we did. And I absolutely love it. Our team was committed to speaking to at least, so if you'll look over onto the right, I don't know if you can see that, it says top 2 new. We were committed to talking to 2 new people about Strong Brook, whether that was the mentoring, the referral business, or investing, whatever was going to make the biggest difference in their lives at that time. We were also committed to following up with at least 2 people that we had talked to before. Now this done category was one of my favorites because it always reminded me to stay in my power as I was prospecting, to make sure that I was asking good questions. If I wasn't receiving really solid yeses and nos, then I knew that I needed to be a little bit more direct. For example, if I had someone who wasn't able to come to a presentation or didn't show up, then I would contact that person and I would be very direct and ask, is this, would you be interested in coming to the next presentation that we have? Now I wouldn't let them just get away with a no, right? If they hadn't even been to see a presentation, I would ask, okay, we'd have a little discussion, right? What is it that is keeping you from wanting to come see even the information? But the point is that I feel that my job is to give all the information that I can so that someone is able to make the best decision for themselves. And don't be afraid to go for no. That will progress things one way or the other. There's a lot of times that I said, you know, it looks like this may not be the right thing for this time in your life. And they're like, no, wait. And they were right over. It could go the other way. They could say, yeah, you're right, this just really isn't for me right now. But then it's not hanging over your head and it's not hanging over their head. Being direct is a gift that you can give yourself and to the people that you talk to. Also, we were committed to helping at least 2 team members a day, either mentoring or training, whatever we could do to support. Now, what I love about this is that this helped us keep our businesses very balanced. And as we keep our businesses balanced, then you'll find that it just flows. And it flourishes almost effortlessly. It was very easy to tell very quickly where things were lopsided too. After about a week of all these averages, you could see where maybe the holes were. And we had everyone on our team send us a quick text giving us the numbers for those 4 areas so that we could catch problems before they became problems. This was extremely effective. Okay, if we go back up and look at the daily routines, I think is what it say, daily, can you read it there? These were the things that we did every day. And so this might be your prayer and scripture study, your exercise. I know Wileen does a batch of laundry every day. This could be your 30 minutes of mentoring. These are the things every day. And if you look over to the right, these are your intentions for that specific day. As those were listed, we would pick 3 that were your priorities and move them up into your commitments. Those commitments would then further be broken down into individual tasks. So for example, if having a home weekly meeting was a commitment that I had for that day, then I might have as my task to pick up some refreshments, probably clean my house, and also to maybe send out reminder texts to my guests. Do you see the brilliance of this? We're taking a big 90-day goal and breaking it down to the individual tasks within a commitment within a day. If you set this up properly and go through the process, it makes this system so incredibly manageable, so doable. The compress and explode works because you know that you can trust all you have to do is the next step. Just do the next task. If you keep doing the next task, it will lead you to that 90-day success. All right, and then for appointments, personally, I only fill in times or appointments that have specific times attached to them. I let the rest be open and free for my commitments and tasks so that I can be led by inspired action. I think I pushed the right. Okay, it is our job to paint the picture of what is going to happen and what the results could be. When we get extremely passionate and when people see that there is a plan and we're organized, those that are right for it can't help but be attracted into that. And we want to make sure that we have others on our team, and even those that are potential team members, join us as we make these plans. Because as people see that they have a place where they can use their unique talents and skills in something so amazing, that is so fulfilling to them, and it's going to bless their lives. Now, this is not easy to do. It is not. Trust me. In order for things to change, you have to be willing to change, bottom line. And you have to be willing to give 100% because your team will give about 80% of whatever that is. Now, I'd like to talk briefly about the power of momentum. If you can remember playing on a playground when you were little, maybe there was a merry-go-round, and all your friends would jump in the middle, and you got to be the one to push that merry-go-round, take that big, motionless mass into action. And that first step is so much effort. It takes so much energy. And the second step takes a little less, and then a little less, and pretty soon you pick up momentum. You're still pushing the same amount of weight. You're still taking the same amount of steps, but it soon becomes almost effortless. In fact, you could even jump on and enjoy the ride. And as long as you're still pedaling consistently every so often, you're going to keep that thing in motion. But if you let it die or even walk away from it and you want to put it back in motion again, you're going to have to go through that same effort and energy to get it back in motion. The start and stop method is not a very fun way to ride a merry-go-round, and it's really not a fun way to run a business. Another way to look at this is the activation energy required for going to the gym. You get on your gym clothes, you drive to the gym, you check in, you set up, you go and you lift that one weight, and then you leave the gym, right? Is that taking advantage of all that initial energy required to get there? It's certainly not. But I see this all the time on the team. They'll invite that one person to the event. What are the chances that that one person's going to be able to make it? Maybe. Let's increase our odds. Let's take advantage of that initial energy required. You know, once you get into the proper mindset and that courage, that the wording just right, it really doesn't take that much effort to invite 10 as it did to the one. Now make it 20 or 30 and you've got a really powerful blitz, right? Now you're really leveraging all of that initial activation energy. That is a fun way to run your business. Well, by doing and teaching the compress and explode model, you will develop a solid and profitable business for yourself, but it will also become the model that your downline organization will use, and that's when things start to grow. That's when things really become fun. If we look at the end of each 90 days, like getting to the Super Bowl, you know that you're going to win sometimes and you're going to lose sometimes. You may not accomplish all the goals, but you know you're going to be a whole lot further than when you started. Okay, so we're at the end of an incredible day of convention, wouldn't you say? This has been an amazing day. we need to ask ourselves, how are you feeling? Are you interested? Are you excited?
Yes.
Yeah? Are you feeling motivated?
Yes.
All of those things are great, but feelings come and go. I hope that we can all be committed, because it is the commitment that is going to take us through the good and bad days. All right?
Yes.
Let's all decide now to be committed to do a full 90-day compress and explode and just see what the possibilities are. All right? Remember that you are a seed of greatness and you will grow exponentially in this oil of pursuit. I thank you so much. Let's have a great launch.